Hi, dreamers. I'm Percival.
And I'm Viviane.
And we are your hosts of the Dreamscape Chronicles.
If you would like to share a story for us to tell or come on the show and share it yourself, we welcome all dreamers to contact us at dreamscapechronicles@outlook.com. Our Patreon is now live. Just search the Dreamscape Chronicles. We will also be putting a link in our show notes to make it easier to find. It's only $1 for Discord access, so you can join our growing community by chatting about the show, voting on polls, and sharing stories with others like yourself. Soon we will be moving our special episodes and witching hour segments over to Patreon. At a higher tier, you will have access to our personal stories and more of our special episodes. The witching hour segments and other special episodes that we have already released will stay free. But if you are looking for more content like that, Patreon is where you will find them. Now back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Today we're addressing a topic that's been buzzing all over the place. It's one of those things that seems to pop up in conversations everywhere. News articles, social media, late night YouTube rabbit holes, and that's artificial intelligence. But we're not going to rehash all the usual stuff you've probably already heard 100 times, like whether AI will take over jobs or become sentient. We're going somewhere different. We're going to look at a side of AI that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to just yet. It's growing involvement in sleep tech, specifically lucid dreaming induction devices. Yeah, that's right. Machines that help you control your dreams. Sounds like sci-fi? Well, it's not. It's here. And AI is already starting to slip into it. Over the past few years, we've seen this explosion of interest in lucid dreaming. The ability to become aware that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and in some cases even control what happens inside the dream. And naturally, tech has followed. People want tools to hack into that experience more reliably. So, inventors and startups got to work creating sleep masks and headbands and audio programs, all designed to help people achieve lucidity more consistently. One of the more basic forms of these are the lucid dreaming masks. These are wearable sleep devices that detect REM sleep and then deliver little sensory cues meant to nudge your conscious mind just enough to recognize, hey, this is a dream, without fully waking you up. So what kind of cues are we talking about? Do you want to tell us a little bit about how these devices work, Percival?
So, usually they have visual cues which involve like flashing lights, and they're normally little red or white LEDs that flash and then bleed into your dreamscape through ocular perception.
Gotcha.
Then you have audible or sound cues. Sometimes it's a tone or ambient noise. Other times it's recorded messages of your own voice saying like, hey, I'm dreaming, kind of thing.
Just to recognize when it's happening.
Right. And then there's what would be tactile or vibrational cues, which are gentle haptic pulses that become part of your dream setting, like your phone buzzing in your pocket, only your phone doesn't actually exist in your dream. That's kind of the point.
I gotcha. Putting something in there that already isn't there.
Right. It's kind of like the clock check thing where the time doesn't match. It's one of those things to trigger an acknowledgement of that action.
So rather than naturally putting yourself into the lucid dreaming mindset and practicing those cues over and over and over again, and when you get the opportunity to test it in the dream, you might go lucid. These devices are producing more and more of those awareness checks for your brain to pick up on any of them, like a subway, and you're just taking any stop that comes.
Yeah, it's prompting the opportunity to recognize lucidity.
Gotcha. That does make sense, yeah. Well, some of these earlier devices in this space came out of the Lucidity Institute, and we've kind of discussed that in the past. It was led by Dr. Stephen Labarge, a huge figure in lucid dreaming research on his own. They made the Nova Dreamer, which used flashing lights during REM sleep. There was also the Dream Light before that, and now these were pretty cool but pretty basic. Think of them as like the analog era of dream tech. But fast forward to now, and you've got devices that are way more sophisticated, and some are even integrating AI into the mix. One example is the Lucid Me mask from REM Space. This one's different. It's the first to really market itself as using AI in tandem with multiple techniques. For instance, it helps you stay conscious as you fall asleep, a notoriously tricky stage called the hypnagogic state. We've spoken on that many, many times.
So many times. That's where the wild things are.
And then it tracks your REM sleep in real time. And get this, it actually delivers instructions right when you wake up and tries to get you back into a lucid dream during that super fragile half awake moment. That's a lot of tech doing a lot of timing critical work, and AI is at the heart of managing those processes. It needs to process biosignals on the fly, things like EEG data, eye movements, brainwave fluctuations, and then decide exactly when to deliver cues and what kind of cues is most likely to work for your particular sleep pattern. There's also Lucid Catcher from the company Luciding, which goes a different route entirely. It uses TACS, or transcranial alternating current stimulation, to deliver mild electrical impulses directly to your frontal cortex. The goal there is to amplify gamma wave activity, which is linked to awareness and memory, two key elements you need to hold on to lucidity. Another mask, NeuroOn, builds in EEG electrodes to detect REM and then uses LEDs and audio just like the older devices, but with a smarter, more customizable approach. Dream Ring, Dream Stalker, and others like Aurora and REM Dreamer offer similar packages, all aiming to gently push you across that lucid threshold.
Dream Stalker?
Yeah, maybe not the best of names.
Like that doesn't sound ominous.
Yeah. And of course, we can't skip over Prophetic's Halo. That one's the latest on the scene, and it's using some pretty next level stuff, real time EEG analysis, AI driven sleep pattern interpretation, and even focused ultrasound to stimulate brain regions associated with dream control. It's not just reading your brain, it's talking back to it in real time. This is where we are mostly going to focus this episode. This device is the latest in a long line of evolving models and really embodies the properties we are all looking at when the topic of AI is being discussed. But these kinds of devices don't stop with masks and headbands. We're also seeing brainwave entertainment tools that are binaural beats or isochronic tones, audio tricks that influence the brain into certain frequencies. Theta waves, for example, are linked to deep meditative and dream states, and these sound based tools try to get your brain into that rhythm. Some use synchronized flashing lights and sounds together. And then there are the transcranial stimulation devices, again, basically wearable neuromodulators. They apply electric or magnetic fields to tweak brain activity. It's still a bit experimental, but some users report increased lucidity, better dream recall, even strange emotional effects after using these devices. So you can really see how these devices have a very, very large potential for benefits. In the therapeutic side of things, even PTSD patients could benefit from this type of device.
Well, now, before we get too starry eyed about all this, we have to acknowledge that the science is still playing catch up. Some people swear by these devices, saying that they're life changing, others not so much. The effectiveness really varies person to person. That makes sense, though, because our brains don't work all exactly the same in the first place.
Right.
And sleep is one of the most complex and delicate states we can enter, and we know so little about it. And of course, we can't ignore the potential side effects. If you've got a mask flashing lights or playing audio when it shouldn't be, it can actually disrupt your sleep instead of helping. I mean, people report waking up groggy, feeling like they didn't rest at all. And for those already struggling with sleep quality, these devices could make things worse if misused. But that isn't to say that regular lucid dreaming can't have the same effect, because some people do have these lucid dreams and then they feel like they didn't get any sleep because you're going to bed and then you're living another life and not feeling like you're rested. It'd be like getting home from work, sleeping, dreaming you're at work, and then waking up. It's
Right.
going to feel like an endless cycle.
Well, and your mind is not at rest. Your mind isn't getting any rest when you're lucid dreaming because it's running through whatever you're running I mean, you could be building your own dream or you could just be existing and being lucid in whatever dream you're having, to include nightmares.
Exactly. But perhaps one of the biggest concerns going forward is privacy.
Mm.
These newer devices are gathering intimate biological data, brainwave patterns, sleep cycles, even how long you spend in a certain dream stage. That kind of data could be really sensitive, and once AI gets involved in interpreting it, or worse, predicting or influencing your mental state, it raises a whole set of ethical questions. You know, like who owns that data?
Right.
What can be done with it? What happens if that data is sold or hacked? I mean, we already see what's happening with the gene testing companies that are being sold.
Yeah.
And, supposedly your DNA is not being sold to wherever, but we really don't know what's happening with that.
I mean, if the US can be secretly selling radioactive material to China under an energy bill, then I think we can safely say that some of our data might not be completely safe.
Yeah, like it's an energy source.
It's it's the same thing.
It's just a small neuron star.
Fine.
I'm waiting to happen.
It's totally okay.
While this world of AI driven lucid dream tech is exciting, and it is, we also have to approach with a little caution and a little critical thinking here, because it's not just about hacking your dreams or chasing a cool experience. It's also about understanding the technology and the implications. Because once you start inviting machines into your subconscious, that's where the line between user and experiment becomes very, very blurry.
That's fair.
So, anyways, that's what we'll be exploring more in this episode, especially how these devices might be used beyond personal development and maybe even misused. But for now, that's your primer. The sleep tech revolution is here, and AI is dreaming with us now. The question is, who's really in control? So, this reminds me of a Lovecraft quote. In his house sat Relier, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming.
Equally as terrifying as these dream masks.
Dun dun dun. I should get you to say the Lovecraft quote.
I don't know. Can I try and muddle through it?
You can try.
I'll do it with my best amount of pizzazz. Funglui Mglwanafin Cthulhu Relier Waganagal Fatagan.
I mean, for a first attempt, I think that was pretty good.
Thank you. Not to toot my own horn, but that actually went a lot better than I anticipated.
You come for the AI and the halos, and you end up with a tentacle monster.
Or you come for an interesting podcast about dreamscapes and shadow people. Instead, you get these fucking clowns.
I don't wear makeup.
I do. I wear the makeup for both of us.
So let's take a quick minute and just remind everybody to please like and subscribe and share. Our Patreon is now open, so you can join the Discord community. It's new, so it's growing, but
you could make it bigger.
It's growing like one of those foam dinosaurs that you put in water.
It's a sea monkey.
I think a sea monkey grows faster.
Oh, bummer.
But no, for real. Please take the time and go hit that like button, subscribe, share. We have Instagram. Go check out our stuff on there.
Yeah, whether you're here for the weird ass topics that we cover or the weird ass comedy we end up producing. Either one.
Yeah, I mean, if you like entirely incorrect history or very bad infomercials, we got you covered. And don't forget Big Apnea.
Yes. And also, this week only, half off on Fayaway.
I forgot about the Fayaway. Reply #Fayaway in the comments for your coupon code. All current products are on back order and will be restocked probably never.
How can you forget about the Fayaway?
Don't be giving discounts. We don't have coupon codes.
Oh, shit. It's okay. We're out of stock anyway. We'll just renegotiate and cut that out. All right. So let's take a step back here for a second and really think about where we are in human history. I mean, for centuries, we've been peeling away the layers of the unknown, right? Slowly, painstakingly, we've tried to understand ourselves, our minds, the nature of consciousness, all of it. And yet, even now, even with everything we've built and discovered, it feels like we're only scratching the surface, especially when it comes to the terrain of our own minds. But here's where things get interesting. A new frontier is opening up. And it's not out there in deep space or on the ocean floor. It's right here, behind our eyes, in the dreaming mind. Thanks to a convergence of emerging technologies, we now have the ability to design something truly groundbreaking, a neural interface unlike anything we've had before. And not just any interface, I'm talking about one that lets us enter our dreams consciously, induce lucid dreaming on demand. That's where the Halo comes in. Now, the Halo isn't just another wearable sleep tracker. It's engineered to activate a very specific part of the brain, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
I hope everyone is taking notes on these ridiculously long abbreviations. There will be a quiz.
Absolutely. Or DLPFC, during a dream. Why that area? Because that's the part of your brain responsible for things like logical thinking, decision making, self-awareness, all the stuff that goes offline when you're dreaming normally. See, during a regular dream, your DLPFC is basically asleep. It's quiet, which is why your dreams are often bizarre, non-linear, or just plain weird. But in a lucid dream, that area lights up. It becomes active again. That's what gives you the ability to realize, hey, I'm dreaming, and then maybe even fly or change the scene or talk to a dream character and know it's all inside your mind. The Halo uses something called transcranial focused ultrasound, or TFUS for short, which is this non-invasive neuromodulation technology. It's essentially sound waves, but really high frequency and very precisely aimed. They can actually stimulate specific regions of the brain without needing surgery or implants. It's wild. Yeah, not subtle. God, stop copying me. What TFUS does is modulate the neurons. It nudges their membrane potentials so they're more likely to fire. And by tuning this just right, you can activate specific neural circuits, like the ones in the DLPFC, for instance, while someone is in REM sleep. That's the sweet spot for lucid dreaming. And that level of targeting matters a lot. We're not just blasting the brain randomly. We're talking about engineered arrays that use Fibonacci spiral patterns, literally borrowing from nature's most elegant math to focus and steer the stimulation like a holographic beam.
That I didn't even know. That's actually more scary than it sounds.
It really is. It's kind of terrifying. But wait, there's more. To figure out when to activate the ultrasound, you need to know exactly when the person has entered REM and when the brain is ready for lucidity. Pinpointed. That's where neuroimaging and AI come in. So the Halo combines EEG, which tracks brainwave activity, with FNIRS, which monitors blood oxygenation levels in the brain. When neurons are firing, they consume more oxygen. So by looking at how the blood flow shifts, you can actually map which regions are active in real time.
Makes sense.
Then comes the AI, the real-time translator of sorts. It's built on transformer architecture, like the kind you see in advanced language models.
Okay.
But this one's tuned to understand your brainwaves. It interprets all that EEG data to predict when you've entered the right stage of sleep, and not just REM in general, but the precise zone where a lucid dream can be most easily triggered. Once it detects that moment, it sends the command to the TFUS system, a gentle pulse targeted right at the DLPFC, nudges it awake while the rest of the dream continues. And just like that, the dream becomes lucid. You're aware. You know you're dreaming and you can explore it intentionally. This isn't just speculative theory, it's a real prototype. The Halo is part of a new wave of neural technology that blends AI, advanced imaging, and non-invasive stimulation to create a bridge between the waking consciousness and the dreaming mind.
I mean, Could dream state simulation blur the boundaries between our constructed identity and authentic selfhood? Is it possible to draw a clear ethical line between therapeutic neuromodulation and cognitive manipulation when AI is really involved? I mean, we know AI is unreliable. Not even just AI, our general technology is unreliable.
And everything has bugs, especially at the beginning. It's a terrifying thought. I think it would be interesting to hear a lot of people's thoughts on that. I feel personally that it does blur those boundaries between, who we've constructed and who we really are. I mean, it's like whenever you're playing a video game and you see the guy and he's super beefy, and then in the background he's playing his game and he's like a 4-year-old, you know what I mean? Like he's tiny.
Right.
But he wants to be big, so they make these constructs. But is that who he is? Are we taking it away from him to embrace his differences and become who he ultimately could be?
I mean, that's just a form of escapism.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah. It's definitely an ethical teeter-totter. So yeah, we're not just on the verge of exploring new worlds. We're building tools to explore ourselves in entirely new ways. And dreaming, that might just be the next great frontier.
Those are some very valid points, I think. When we talk about emerging tech, especially something as futuristic as a wearable neuro interface for dreaming, it's easy to get swept up in optimism. Lucid dreaming on demand, I mean, conversations with your subconscious, healing trauma while we sleep, sounds almost magical, right?
Absolutely.
Here's where the stuff gets murky again, because as with all tech that interfaces directly with the human brain, especially during its most vulnerable states, there's this darker undercurrent we rarely want to look at. And I want to talk about that, especially when we're already aware of things such as AI hallucinations, which are the phenomena basically where AI algorithms produce outputs that are not rooted in training data. They're incorrectly decoded by the transformer and don't follow any sort of identifiable patterns. It's just making shit up.
Right.
This is really where the phenomenon gets weird and gets its name as hallucinated as a response. I mean, what would happen if something like this were to occur while someone was using a device like this Halo? Possibly more terrifying than that, let's look at what happens when technology is not used as intended, or more disturbingly, when it's used exactly as intended, but with ulterior motives.
Right.
So, kind of picture this, right? You put on your sleek headband at night, marketed as a lucid dream enhancer. It uses, the real EEG to monitor your brain waves, and once it detects you're in REM sleep, it deploys focused ultrasounds to stimulate your prefrontal cortex. But here's the thing. What else is being stimulated? Because we're talking about focused neuromodulation, not just passive monitoring, but active interference. This ultrasound tech targets the prefrontal cortex, yes, but that's the seat of consciousness, memory, inhibitions, decision making. What happens when you start stimulating that area with precision tools and AI optimization?
Well, I that's a great way to get this kicked off. Let's just start there at cognitive manipulation. I mean, it seems like the elephant in the room, right?
Right, exactly.
See, on paper, you're just using the Halo to access your lucid dreams, but what if the software's been tampered with, or if the firmware update that came in last night contained a new set of parameters, maybe subtly pushing your inhibition down, elevating your emotional volatility, or nudging you towards certain thought loops?
Right, because you know who are programming these things? People, and people make mistakes. I mean, how many people's got phone updates that destroyed their phone or bricked their phone?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, what happens if your brain gets bricked while in the process of being manipulated?
Well, and it doesn't sound so bad until you realize that these shifts are happening inside your head. Like while you're Sleeping, you wake up a little bit more irritable, a little less sure of your boundaries, or more maybe you find yourself obsessing over an idea that came out of nowhere. That's what happens when neuromodulation isn't regulated. It can alter the chemical, even electrical balances in the brain. And when you pair that with real time AI feedback loops, the halo doesn't just read your brain, it's rewriting it.
I mean, what could be the long-term consequences of routinely stimulating the prefrontal cortex during REM sleep? Possibly some mad scientist shit.
Not good. It won't be good.
I mean, really, to what extent should we allow non-clinical devices like the Halo to stimulate core regions of consciousness during unconscious states that
Absolutely.
we're not even aware of?
Yeah, I mean,
At that point, you're not consenting to it. And unless that's part of the package deal, you consent to whatever your brain gets fried to.
it actually reminds me a lot of like a hypnosis session. Like when you go into a hypnosis session, you have to sign a waiver and you're trusting that person that they're not going to fuck with your brain while you're under. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's just that at least when you go in for a therapy session of hypnosis, you're trusting a human who's taken an oath. This is AI. They have taken no oath.
Right. I mean, they're programmed to work within specific parameters, but all it's going to take is a glitch and there that goes.
Everything has another way around it, though.
And there's more way to get answers out of AI. So like
Hmm.
there's loopholes. So just because it's not intending on harming you, accidents do happen and that doesn't
Absolutely.
that's harm ultimately one way or the other.
So let's take it a step further. Let's talk about dream content insertion. This one keeps me up at night, ironically. Lucid dreaming is powerful because it's self directed. You can explore your mind with intention. But when a device like the Halo is in control, it's not just facilitating the dream, it's curating it. Imagine an AI algorithm subtly steering your dreams, injecting imagery, voices, even narrative structures that guide your thoughts while you sleep. Let's say you dream about a political figure, and in that dream, they save your life. Or you repeatedly dream about a product, and every time it's paired with comfort and pleasure or success.
Fade away.
God, I'm sorry.
I'm going to take an opportunity of this
As
capitalism.
like as sci-fi as this sounds, it really isn't. There's already research showing how memory consolidation can be influenced by sleep stimuli. Add AI into that loop, and you've got dream advertising. Or worse, ideologically conditioning the mind. It's like Inception, but no spinning top is going to let you know when you're still dreaming.
That's true. You're actively plugging into the matrix at this point, and you have no awareness if you'll actually wake up or if you're ever awake at that point. And if it does work, the CIA will just find psychics and plug them in. That has Minority Report written all over it.
You know, there's a Black Mirror episode that kind of flirts with this idea where the guy wakes up and he's in the world and they have a job. They go and they cycle on their bikes. And as long as they cycle enough miles, they get credits, and those credits they can pay for things. And one of the things you have to pay for is if your eyes are open and an advertisement is running and you close your eyes, the advertisement pauses unless you pay to go ad free. And it's not like a I'll go ad free this one time. It's like a certain extent of time. And then you come back to it and then you have to spend more credits, so you have to bike more. It feels very similar to that type of situation.
It's funny that every type of escapism we've developed, the fat cats have essentially found a way to reinsert their propaganda and
Mm.
influences into our leisure. Like we got away from commercials because we started streaming services, and
Now the streaming services have
guess
commercials.
guess who's back? Knock knock.
Back again.
It's a commercial, or you pay for it. So it's like, it's only a matter of time. Even if it didn't have it 20 years from now, there'll be commercials.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's where it gets really chilling because dreams aren't just stories, they're encoded emotional experiences. If you're repeatedly exposed to specific content while your brain is in its most plastic, open state, it starts to feel real. Emotional conditioning through dreams could shape your waking attitudes, decisions, even core beliefs, all without you ever being aware that it's happening.
Exactly. That's exactly where we're just. It's like, can we compare dream content manipulation to subliminal advertising?
Oh, absolutely.
And should it be regulated similarly? I don't even think it should be involved in there, but if it is, then yes. Like
Definitely
if
regulate
AI,
it if it's necessary.
right, if AI can tailor dream content, where do we draw the line between user empowerment and subtle coercion?
That's an excellent question because I mean, like we stated earlier, these devices could have a potential for great victories in certain areas of research, especially therapeutic uses. So let's not forget about data collection, right? We kind of addressed that a little earlier because the halo is always watching. EEG data doesn't just tell the system when you're dreaming, it reveals subconscious patterns, emotional responses, maybe even your unspoken fears and desires. Now imagine that data being harvested or sold. It's worse than the DMV. Advertisers would kill for that level of psychological insight. Governments, probably more so. If this data is not encrypted, or if there's a quiet little clause in the terms of service that no one reads, you could be giving third parties direct access to your inner self, your sleep patterns, your subconscious reactions, your vulnerabilities. Your dreams are no longer private, they're profitable. So, should real time EEG data collected during sleep be classified as biometric health data, psychological data, or both, even?
And this is exactly what I was just saying about the little clause in their contracts or whatever. There's no telling, people don't ever read any of that stuff.
No, it's tiny print.
Well, who bears responsibility if an AI lucid dream device can cause the user harm due to breaches in tech? How do we go about protecting users from having their subconscious patterns and dream content profiled and sold?
Right. I mean, we have to have some sort of protection around it.
Why would we think that there wouldn't be parallels between AI generated dreamscapes and algorithmic content feeds from social media?
Yeah.
It's already proven successful methods of marketing. And remember when everything went digital and we were so happy to be rid of those commercials? Now we won't be able to get rid of them, even in our sleep, without potentially hitting a paywall on dreaming.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it's only terrifying because it's actually a possibility.
Exactly.
Now let's push it a little bit further even because where there's a networked device, there's a back door of some sort, right? So let's talk about unauthorized remote access. The Halo connects via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. That's how it syncs with your phone, updates its firmware, personalizes your experience. But what happens if someone else gets in? A hacker doesn't need to control your phone, just the halo. And from there, they could trigger stimulation patterns mid dream. They could send new cues, change the content you experience, or even permanently alter the way your brain interprets dreaming itself. This is direct brain interference without consent. And unlike a computer virus, you can't just reboot your mind. There's no turn it off, turn it back on again.
Anytime there's been any kind of technology that can be broken, we will break it. It's like
Absolutely.
almost in our nature to find ways around locked doors in places we probably don't belong. So, what safeguards should be in place to prevent unauthorized remote access to neurostimulation devices? Are we approaching a future where personal agencies and consciousness becomes commodity?
Mm, it's a scary thought. So once your neural pathways adapt, there's no undo button, right? Then there's the question of dependency. The more people rely on external tech to reach lucid states, the more we train the brain to expect outside assistance. Another no undo button. That's a slippery slope. We already see people becoming addicted to escapism, video games, virtual reality, social media. But dream escapism?
I mean, at what point does voluntary use of neural AI interface become a slow consent to live inside a curated mental simulation?
Absolutely. I know a lot of people would be interested in living that way.
For real, though, what risks arise when users begin to prefer their dream identities over their waking selves? We already know people just do not like the way the world is.
Hmm.
And this is exactly like the Matrix. It's like Cypher, the member who'd sold out the rest of the crew just to return to the Matrix.
Yeah, over one steak and a lousy conversation. It definitely feels pretty insane, and we know how humans can be addicted to dopamine. It's so seductive to dive into a perfect world every night. No responsibilities, no trauma, full control. But after a while, the lines start to blur who you are in the waking world versus the dream world. Do you start to prefer the simulation? Do you begin to need it?
All in all, this sounds great. This sounds fantastic of a way to escape reality, have these amazing dreams at nighttime and take control of a part of your life that you normally don't have control over. But realistically, you can achieve these on your own without having to use AI to enhance it and potentially risk even more things invading your dreams. If you think of it from a spiritual aspect, you already have to worry about astral parasites or shadow man or whatever else that creeps in the dark interfering
Mm,
with your sleep.
yeah.
You're just adding something else to it. And like everyone thinks that AI is controlled by the fallen angels and all this stuff, which I don't necessarily fall into. This is still a very real issue. This is just another layer to add to confusing and already confusing state of mind.
Definitely. And I mean, here's the next kicker is that it's all vendor controlled. Your dreams become a subscription model. What happens when the company decides to gatekeep experiences behind a paywall? Or when an update removes certain freedoms in exchange for safety or compliance? Are you dreaming your dreams or theirs? It really reminds me of, that one show that we like, Upload. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, where they were uploading their consciousness before they died, and then they were
Yes.
like uploaded into a computer system so that they were still conscious. They just
Yes.
didn't have bodies anymore.
And depending on how much you paid into that world or paid into your afterlife of sorts, gave you better or worse experiences in the afterlife in the uploaded kind of AI driven world.
Yeah, it was worse than using a payphone doing a collect call in the 90s.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But
Please
it's a great
insert
show.
25 more cent.
Finally, this is where it stops being hypothetical. Let's talk about dual use technology. The tech behind Halo isn't novel in isolation. Transcranial focused ultrasound is being studied for cognitive enhancement, trauma therapy, even military training. AI enhanced neuromodulation?
That's got DARPA written all over it.
Exactly.
Might dream state conditioning become the next frontier for psychological warfare or mass persuasion? How do we distinguish between a tool of self discovery and a mechanism for ideological and commercial programming?
It's a very, very thin line. Now imagine a version of Halo used in sleep camps for prisoners of war, or in experimental black sites designed to interrogate, disorient, or reprogram dissidents while they sleep. Non lethal, quote unquote, cognitive control becomes the euphemism of the decade. This isn't about physical domination, it's about owning the inner world.
And they're going to have farms of people asleep on dream machines being fed through IVs.
Now that sounds like the Matrix.
Ding ding.
And it doesn't even have to be governments. Corporations with enough power, and honestly, corporations have more power, in my opinion, could roll out a wellness program that slowly conditions employees for higher compliance, reduced resistance, and improved brand loyalty right in their sleep. So, yeah, the prophetic halo might be marketed as a tool for self discovery, dream exploration, and personal growth, but in the wrong hands, it's something far more sinister. It's not just about what the device does, It's about who controls the software, who accesses the data, and how those subtle nudges and stimulations ripple out into the behavior, identity, and ultimately freedom of their users. Because once your dreams are no longer yours, what part of your mind is still sovereign? This is why, if you are striving to achieve lucid dreaming, perhaps the old-fashioned way is best. But you let us know what you think about this technology. Would you try Halo?
How do we design systems that preserve a sense of self when our outsourced parts of our inner world are to machines?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this is a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot to process with or without AI help.
Exactly. And I bet you thought you were coming here to hear us talk about the devil.
I guess the title is a little misleading.
Or is it?
You tell us. I'm actually really excited to hear what people have to say about this one.
Yeah, you guys give us some feedback. Tell us what you think about this AI stuff, especially this new AI dream tech. It's got me really, really on the fence. Like part of me is like, yeah, that sounds super cool. I would love to try it. But then the other part of me is like, this is like doing magic and being religious. Is this gonna damn me? Like it's that same feeling. Like
Yeah.
there's this inner caution behind using stuff like this.
Well, and on my side of the fence over here, I'm thinking, have you ever heard someone try and talk about, this really great thing and they explain it all the way through and then you're like, "Oh my God, wait, what are you talking about?" Because it sounds a lot like torture.
I'm pretty sure all of the big words we used in this episode are torture.
That's fair. I tell you what, guys, we were back here tongue twistering it up because we had to practice.
Late disclaimer. It's got weird words.
Yes. Listen carefully or listen again.
Keep your AI Google translator handy.
Ooh, good one. Good one. But until next time, dreamers, keep dreaming and
join us in discovering what may lie beyond the walls of sleep. It just may be AI.